Yeah, I've spoken to quite a few people on this topic, loads of times, um, about like how your job and your work affects your training. Because a lot of people want to get into like the gym. A lot of people want to, start strength training. A lot of people want to get into like the, boxing or a martial art or whatever. But as you get older, especially as a man, more bills. You got family. You got things that you need to, that occupy your day. Work, all this kind of stuff. Like it gets hard to get into the gym. So and especially like like I've noticed as well, a lot of people want to get into the gym, or like people that don't go to the gym, they don't understand what the hype is about it. Like they can't, because when you first start training you think, oh, you know what, I don't even want to do this, like it just looks boring sort of thing. But once you start getting into it, once you start getting like them endorphins and that dopamine hit from training, you're pretty much hooked from there. Like you can't ever see yourself not training. Like me personally, I can't not train. Every time I go into the gym, I always see the same faces because of that dopamine hit you get from training, that good feeling you get afterwards. Once you've done your workout, once you've done, your sauna, once you've done, even if I get in a good boxing session, that's even a win for me. I feel great after. Even if I do sparring and I get beaten up, I still feel good after. So, like I've talked to so many people about this subject, about how your job affects getting into the gym and stuff. And like even me personally, like back in the day when I've had to do little other jobs, so I do like IT related work, so I can sit down, I can take my time, I can get in the gym. But I personally, I can't, like say for example you look at a job, yeah, like I've got friends that work in construction and painting, decorating, all these kind of things, and they find it very, very difficult to get into the gym. They'll get in, but they'll get in like once, maybe twice a week, and it's very half-hearted, if that. Which is still a win. Like still, you're still getting in there, but it doesn't. How can I put it? It's hard for them to actually enjoy it because they're so tired. They're so writ off from doing their day job. So what I've and I've spoken to people who like obviously do. I've back in the day I've done like factory work, where you get there for like 6 a.m. and you can finish at 2, 3 o'clock, and you think like that's a win. You think, oh, but I'll finish at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock or whatever, so I can get my training in after. But you remember you've been up since 5 o'clock in the morning and you're on your feet and you're doing all these other things, like, so you're tired, you're spent. So like even with me, like I work on computers. I do like the whole IT thing or whatever, like, and I find it very, very boring. I don't enjoy it, but it allows me to get in my gym sessions. It allows me to get in my boxing. It allows me to get in my running, my sauna, and that's a big thing for me. Like, so you just have to like, it's crazy. Like, you really do just have to find that sweet spot. Like, even if you do work a job where it's like labor intensive, so you're on your feet all day, like, and it's weird because I spoke to people who work like construction jobs and stuff, and they always say to me like it doesn't feel the same as going into the gym, because I suppose it's like you're there all day. It's like you're working all day. This is your job. You want to break away from that. Um, so always like I always use the yin and yang. You can't ever have too much of something. Do you know what I'm saying? So because people, I've even thought about like, can you use your job as like a workout, which is cool, but then when you're just doing that, that just takes its toll on you. Whereas like if you can break it up and go to the gym and get a good workout and get a sauna in, it's like that's the yang, so you've got both sides of the coin. Yeah, it's really hard, man. Like your job really does like play a big part into like what you do. Like these jobs that really won't really, you really struggle to get in a good session. Construction, factories, warehouses, all that kind of stuff is, I feel personally, I feel like they're very hard for you to get in good sessions. I might be wrong, and listen, if you're like if you're like 18 to whatever 20 something, and you've got no commitments, you live at home with your parents, you've got no bills to pay really, then yeah, it's cool to, them jobs, you can do that, you can still get in the gym. But if you're an older man or whatever, and you've got, you've got commitments, you've got kids, you've got family, all this kind of stuff, yeah, man, it's hard. It's very hard to get it in. So you just have to do what works for you. I ain't saying to quit your job for the gym or whatever. I'm saying like you just have to work out what's gonna work for you. I spoke to a guy in the gym a little while ago, and he does like groundwork, which is like on the roads and stuff, you know, where they do the streets, the concrete, all that kind of stuff is very, very labor intensive. And he was saying to me, he's just started training, and he goes, do you know what? He goes, this feels amazing. Like, he goes, I wish I started this back in the day. He goes, but all them cold mornings, them long days, you know, like just grafting and stuff. Like he said, he's took its toll on him, and his back's shot, and he just doesn't feel healthy. But he feels healthy now. He's coming to the gym. So you just have to work out what's going to work for you. Like I said, with me, I do the computer thing because, you know, I don't enjoy it, but it gives me a nice work-life balance. And I'm someone that, like, yeah, I want loads of money and all this kind of stuff. Who doesn't? But I also want a good life. You know, I also want to have my time. You know, I've been in my life, I've done jobs where, like, you know, you're there like 6 days a week, you have to do the overtime, you don't really get much time. I've done all of that. I don't enjoy it. I want to enjoy my time. We ain't here for long, so I want to do what I enjoy, which is training hard every single day, or 5 days a week, or whatever it is, you know. And I want to incorporate that into my day. So you just have to, like, really, you know, maybe if you are working a job that's a little bit too much, too physical, you know, where you're just shot at the end of the day, and you really, you know, you really want to get into this whole training lifestyle and stuff, but you can't, maybe look at other things, you know. Maybe look at, like, going back to college. Maybe look at, you know, retraining in something, you know. Like, I always say boring jobs are the best for training. Not always, but 9 times out of 10, because like if you work, say for example, you work a desk job, which is really boring, and I know it's not good for you to be sedentary. I understand. I'm being a bit contradictive here. I know they say you should be on active and stuff, but, like, you know, you know, if you wake up in the morning, I've done this, like, you wake up early, go and do a session, smash it out, get your cardio in. By the end of that session, because I track it, I get about 5,000 steps in after everything in the morning. And then you think, if you work a desk job, you're just sitting down relaxing, so your body's got time to relax, your body's got time to rejuvenate and you know, and play catch up and stuff. Whereas, like, say for example, you wake up in the morning, then you've got to work a labor intensive job, your body's just constantly shot. So, you know, you just have to, like, really just work out what's going to work for you and for your life, and what you really prioritize. Do you prioritize money and just being working all the time and all this kind of stuff? Would you want to have, you know, that healthy balance? It's hard, bro. You know what, as well, like, because I know, like, people are going to obviously look at this video and say, well, you know, if I'm on my feet all day, say for example you're a mechanic and you're on your feet all day and you're walking around and you're lifting objects, you don't really need to go to the gym. Again, it goes back to this yin and yang thing. Like, if you're just constantly at the gym, because you know what, there's two things here. I've got friends and people and acquaintances that I know that work labor intensive jobs, like mechanics, like all these other things, and, you know, they've got other vices on the weekend where they drink a lot, or they smoke a lot, or they, you know, that's their thing. Like, this, coming back to this yin and yang thing, you need to, well, if you want to get into training, that could be your vice, is training. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, instead of drinking and, you know, eating bad foods and having bad habits like smoking, the gym, the training, or your outlet, you know. So yeah, so you obviously you do need that. But then I've even tested this thing, right, because I like to do a lot of DIY kind of things, you know, because I sit down to work and stuff. I've tested it. So when I sit down to work and I do a full day, I get about 12 to 13k steps in, because obviously I do that workout in the morning, and then I have breaks and I'll go for walks and breaks. I don't sit down. But so, for example, I'm going to give you an example now, yeah. I've, like, done a bit of painting and decorating at home, right? And I've, like, it's taken the whole day to paint. And I thought, you know what, let me try something here. So I think I went to the gym and I didn't do the cardio side of things, because I like to do the cardio, and I didn't do that, you know, because I know that I'm going to be tired if I do the cardio. I'm going to be too tired to paint. So I didn't do that. So I spent the whole day. I then went to the gym, you know, I got about 2k steps in, you know, from just lifting weights or whatever. And then I came home, and then so I came home or whatever, and then I started painting throughout the day. Now, normally on my break time, which is about 1 o'clock, I do like a walk for an hour, or just a light walk. It's not like intense, it's just a walk, you know, just to get out or whatever, loosen my muscles up, just to get some fresh air. But because I was painting, when it got to that time, I was a bit tired, so I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered to walk now. Obviously, you're being physical, so I'm just gonna, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to chill and I'm going to just let my body chill. So I done that. Then I went back to painting. When I looked at the steps for the day, I was only on about 5,000 steps. Like, and compared to when I work sitting down, when I do 13k steps, you know, I just realised, like, you know, because when you're doing these kind of things, you're standing in the same place the whole day, or you're moving slightly, you know, and so I looked at it properly and I was like, you know, like, this is like remarkable when you look at the study, when you do the study yourself, just using a smartwatch or whatever, and you realise, like, hang on, like, you don't actually have to have a physical job in order to be healthy. You can be healthy and still work a desk job and still get everything that you need to. It is hard because, like I said, you can work out in the morning, train hard, and then that desk job allows your body to rejuvenate, to recover, because you're sitting down. And it is hard. Like, you can work a physical job and not go to the gym, and, you know, you still get all your steps in and that kind of stuff, depending on what you do, by the way. Because if you work in a factory and you're just standing in the same place all day, you know, which I know one or two people do or whatever, I know personally one or two people do, they don't get many steps in. So it depends on what you do. But even that, standing in a factory, you're not getting as many steps in, you're not moving about much. So yeah, man, you just have to find what works for you. If you think that you really want to get into this training thing, you know, you're getting a bit older now, this is what you want to do. You know, you either, there's a few things you can do. If you work a physical job that stops you from training, you know, maybe cut your hours, you know, if you can afford it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe try and get into something else. Maybe, you know, project management, you know, maybe, I don't know, team leader, all this kind of stuff. Maybe start your own business. Maybe go and retrain as well. And then obviously, like I said, if you work a desk job or whatever, just make sure that you're getting them steps in every day. Make sure that you are smashing, because I know a lot of desk job people as well that are absolutely unhealthy, that don't do anything. So make sure you're getting it in as well, you know. Make sure you're getting up, make sure you're getting some good, you know, getting some good sunlight, walking about, running. You know, I always say, if you work a desk job, this is my thing, if you work a desk job, there is no reason why you should not be training. Do you know that? If you work a desk job where you sit down all day, there is no reason why you should not be training for a minimum of 90 minutes every single day. Because if you look at the people that work construction and stuff, like, they're on it from morning till evening. So there's no reason that you can't do that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, man, just thought I'd just come and chop it up with you guys quick. I always wanted to talk about this topic, so I thought, why not? Anyway, God bless, guys. I'll see you on the next one.